What's up, Chain Gang? How we doing tonight? I just got done making my first of the month video. We'll see how it does. Is it even done uploading yet? Let's see here. Yeah, okay. It's uploaded. That's fine. I think I might just repeat that video every first of the month. It kind of covers all the bases. So, it's like, here's my website, here's the app that'll help you out if you want to get started. You can make cool stuff like X, Y, and Z, and I show those. And then I focus on a product at the end, and scene. Turned out pretty good for 5 minutes of making a first of the month promotional video, which if you're not doing, you should. I don't do it all the time, but yeah, definitely a good habit to get into. So how's everyone's day? What's everyone been getting up to today? It's only Tuesday. If you've made it this far, 3 more days, then it's the weekend. It's weird knowing that I have not thought about what day of the week it was for like 2.5 years. And soon, very soon, I will be going back. Typho Mar, how you doing? Very soon I will be going back to work where I will be having to know what day of the week it is. So that's going to be a culture shock. We'll see what happens. I got a doctor's appointment scheduled today. I got a haircut scheduled. What else did I do? Oh, I had to go do a substance screening and a tuberculosis test. Normally, you get the PPD in your arm. If you're a medical professional, you know what I'm talking about. This time they drew blood, so I don't have to go back. Normally, that's the worst thing about PPDs, right? They have to be read in 48 to 72 hours. So you get the little injection under the epidermis of your skin, and you go back and have it read in 48 to 72 hours. I always miss it. Today's been emotional. Got banned from a club that you were a leader in. That's no good. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I got banned from the local Renaissance Festival group 2 or 3 years ago. Trying to make lighthearted jokes about the current situation everyone was in. And so it's not, it's not similar to your situation. I was not a leader in this group. I had barely been in the group for more than a year, maybe. So, not quite the same thing, but I shouldn't say that. It's not the same thing at all, really. But the only way I know how to respond to something like that is to empathize with bringing up my own tale. My own story of how I was banned once. If you want to go into details, by all means, I'm all ears. But, if it's just been a rough day and you're tired of dealing with it, I completely understand. So, what else did I do today? I worked on this cube. I'm working on layer 9. Or row 9. Right? We've got 8 rows so far. It's 15 by 15 by 8. Right? For those of you who want to know what I'm working on, it's a giant, it's a moderately sized cube. Jane, how you doing? I'm making a chainmail cube, right? Something similar to this, right? Little kind of a fidget toy thing. Paperweight. Good for, throwing at your kids. Doesn't leave bruises. No, I'm just kidding. It totally would. It's all good. They're really the gist of it. Oh, she wants only blind follow. That's no good. Razmataz, how you doing? For those of you just getting in here, I am live on Twitch, X, Facebook, and YouTube right now. So if you want an overhead view. No, they're not that fragile. I mean, you can intentionally destroy anything I've made, right? But with proper care, provided you're not running it over with a car or, drilling into it, firing a projectile at it or anything, they should hold up to most abuse. How long does it take to make one? So okay, just to do some quick math, I think this one is 60 plus hours. It might be more. Hang on. 18,299 divided by 92 hours. More than 60. Right? So 2.25 weeks worth of work. I do want to see your latest jelly cube. You made a big jelly cube, huh? So, as far as the number of rings, this will not be the largest cube that I've made. I've made one slightly larger. But as far as physical size, this is the second largest cube I've made. I made a 30-pound cube recently. Probably how long it took for you to make those sleeves, yeah. Well, this one, just to be clear, the one I'm working on right here is aluminum, right? This one is bronze and steel. So this would be more stable, strong than this one. But these rings are thicker, so it kind of balances out. They're pretty sturdy. Like you would have to be trying to tear one apart. Just pinged you in the Discord. Let's see here. Don't switch. Oh wow. How do I zoom in? I can't. Very nice. Razmataz, what are those? What did you use to make those? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. And what are the dimensions of that cube? So, yeah, dropped my kid off at school, went to the lab the first thing this morning. I didn't have to wait very long. My appointment was at like 9:10. I was out of there by I think I was out of there by 9:10. So it worked out. When I came home, I worked on this for a little bit. And then, yeah, scheduled my appointments. So I need a haircut before I start work next week. And I've got to get, I need to order some scrubs, some scrub tops. They said I can wear khakis, so I need to find some comfortable khakis to wear. During the wintertime in Wisconsin, I'm not keen on wearing scrub bottoms, right? Scrub top, I can just put a jacket over it. But scrub pants? No. So I'll find some khakis. I gotta look quasi-professional. I can't wear jeans. And really, I think I've done all the paperwork, the background check, the substance screening, all that stuff. So it's looking like everything is moving forward with the new position, which I am torn about. Financially, I do need to go back to work. I could scrimp by, but things are already tight with inflation and with the AC going out and all the other stuff that my house needs. It's like, all right, let's just go back to work for a little bit and get yourself situated. So it'll be good. All right. We've got, what do we got? We're closing in on 10,000 rings. We might be over 10,000 rings at this point. Because mathematically, there should be 18,299 rings in this cube when it's done. And we're over halfway, so half of 18 is 9,000. And we've added to that, so we're 8/15ths of the way through this thing. Actually, oh, you know what? We could actually figure that out. Hang on. Clear 8 divided by 15 equals times 18,299. It's roughly 9,759 rings. How much have I made? Thanks for the hearts. Appreciate it. Rick, Capturing Essence, how you doing? Okay, so I've been doing this for 28 years. I've woven together like well over 2 million rings at this point, and I have a ton of stuff that I've done. A lot of it has sold. I have a few 100,000 projects worth of rings over on my windowsill and in various places down here in my basement. You're good. 2 hours left in a long day. Right on. And then the rest has been sold. And I'm moving from my focus on selling small stuff to I want to do like 10 to 15 big art pieces and take them to a metal art gallery or something. I don't know. I'm in between 2 major areas. Chicago and Milwaukee. So somewhere around here is a place where I can have some kind of exhibition of the artwork that I do, but I've got to make 9 to 14 more pieces. You 3D printed the cube. The rings print in place, open with a pivot point, and have 2 dovetail grooves that they latch close with. 8mm ring thickness, 2.5 AR cube is 7 inches on a side. That's awesome. That's very cool. I like that idea a lot. So I guess my next question is, how do I get a hold of some of those rings? Actually. Are all the rings separate or in chain? So they're all, like, I'm using this pile O-rings here. Right? And they're all coming from this container. So I'm not unweaving them from a chain and then weaving them together. They're all separate. Oh, I want a 3D printed jelly cube. You live an hour from me? Okay. Let's, in all seriousness, like once I go back to work, I'll have play money. And in all seriousness, I will buy the rings from you and assemble them myself. Take a full suit of armor for your dog and you. Nice. So, yeah, so all the rings are separate and you have to weave them one by one into whatever you're making. And you can make all kinds of stuff. and I will give you some examples. Cube. More cube. I have a lot of cubes. Here's some like fun little things I was making, trying to use up rings that I had on hand. Right? Try to make a monkey fist. Here is some of the jewelry that I frequently wear on stream. Here is some more of the jewelry I frequently wear on stream. And I don't know. Here's one. Here is 9 feet of chain that I wove together. I've got a plan for this. We're gonna do something with this. Probably turn it into little sections and make rings of them and then weave those into something. It'll be cool. Eventually. I've got a lot of work to do on that particular project. Sure, you're working on getting better at making your own stainless rings too, so you might be able to supply there as well. Right on. I need to what do you get it? You can ask any question appropriate for the platform. But yeah, you can pretty much ask me anything. You want to make some armor for your pets too? Heck yeah. Alright, if you live an hour from me, I know some people live in Lake Geneva. Maybe next summer we'll rent out a place or invade a place and have like a little chainmail get together or something. That'd be fun. We'll bring some cameras and live stream it and hang out, and I'd have to look up a place that is either free for us to hang out or that can be rented fairly cheaply. Chainmail party. Yeah. I used to attend those. I don't know. I maybe attended 3 or 4. And they're fun. It's always cool to see other people's work. You can give 2 people like the same ring size and tell them to weave something, and they'll come up with 2 completely different things. Or if you ask for a Byzantine bracelet from person A and a Byzantine bracelet from person B, you will get 2 totally different things. Sure, should be a fun time. You better have another job by then. This market is not fun. No, it's not. I don't know how I landed a job so quickly, but I've really never had an issue being an RN. They always tell you that there's a shortage of nurses, and yeah, that's true, but it's very specific. It's more than that. There's a shortage of nurses at the bedside in hospitals, right? Because a lot of hospitals are just miserable places to work. And everyone moves away from the bedside and specializes, goes to clinics, goes to the ICU, goes to the ER, right? Or does what I'm doing in home care, and like, so there's usually hospitals always hiring. But I got lucky. I happened to stumble upon a position that was the company that I am now working for just bought the company that worked in my area. And they're expanding in my area, so I was fortunate enough to pick up a job down here. Someone donates their hair, and the other guy gets hair and does something bad, and hair gets found. If someone donates their hair, and the other guy gets hair and does something bad, and the hair gets found at a crime scene, who will be blamed? I don't know. So if I go bald and I get a toupee and I go and commit a crime, and part of some of the hair from my toupee gets left behind at the crime scene, and both me and the donor have our DNA in an FBI database, right? I don't know. I'm sure that they could figure out by determining who was in the area, you know, whose cell phone pinged off what tower where. Astrid, how you doing? What a topic to come in on. I know, right? I am not a forensic scientist. Or associated with law enforcement in any way, so I really don't know. But that would be my guess, is that they would use other evidence to determine who was in the area at the time, who could have done it. You know, just like they do when they find regular hair that belongs to the person, to the criminal. So, if you're going to commit a crime, this is not advice. Don't have any hair on your body. Is it a good question? Yeah, it's a good question. It, you know, makes you think a little bit. There are some presuppositions that go along with it, like they can identify that that they can identify whose hair it is, right? Like, my DNA is in an FBI database. Why is my DNA in an FBI database? Because I've had to have clearances before. Well, not my DNA, my fingerprints, I guess, are in a database. And I've had to have clearances before for the military, right? Nothing special, but they wanted everyone to get secret clearance or something. And I had to get fingerprinted for my nursing license as well, right? You got long hair? You leave hair everywhere? Yeah. So, if I were to leave fingerprints behind at a crime scene, yeah, they would know who I am fairly quickly. And I could be like, but they've never proven that fingerprints are all different. And koalas have fingerprints similar to humans, so maybe it was a koala that committed the crime, the dastardly deed. And not me. I, officer, am innocent. Your Honor, I would never engage in violence of any kind. It's a nice thought provoker. A koala robbed the bank, not me. Excuse me. No. Nope. I have no desire to begin a life of crime. Actually, that's not true. I would love to be like a mastermind criminal. Not like Ocean's 11, but like Megamind. Right? Seems like TikTok has more chatters. Gonna jump over there. Right on. Yeah, that is usually the case. That is usually the case. And it's a good indication of things like, I don't know, dead internet theory. Hi, Jane. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Yep, I've got like the overhead camera and the lights like better over on every other platform, and then I've got my phone on TikTok, and everyone's over here 90% of the time. I got a few people over on everywhere else, but it's like, okay, now everyone go to Discord. Now everybody move to Twitch. Now everybody, yeah, exactly. All the rest of the platforms that I stream to grow really slowly. TikTok and Instagram were the two that have grown over time. I don't know what that movement just was. This is growth in ASL. So yeah, all the other platforms have grown slowly. And that's fine. I'm just going to keep on doing this until I can't anymore. I have a lot of work to do. And streaming holds me accountable to making sure that I at least work on a project an hour or two a day. Right? Stocks go up. The sun rises. TikTok is easier for you to watch while you're dealing with a toddler. Hey, I get it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Aside from the videos I intentionally sit down to watch on, say, YouTube, right? I'm almost exclusively using TikTok. It's just, it's where it's at right now. Come on. So, and everything else with YouTube, I would really have to. It's something I need to do. I need to sit down and organize my channel and produce pre-recorded content, not just lives. Because my lives, they'll have this same title over and over and over again, even though, it's the next day or whatever. YouTube doesn't like that. So it doesn't really show my stuff to many people. And then I don't do pre-recorded content yet. And I have, a few shorts up, but I need to make more. Excuse me. So, that is something I have to dedicate time to that I just don't have right now. Perhaps, okay, so once I get all the stuff in my basement wrapped up and I can move towards my art projects and commissions, it's really just background noise for you at this point? Right on. I don't mind rambling on if you're willing to listen. Yeah, once I finish this backlog of crap that is left over from the last 28 years of me making chainmail, I'll be able to focus more on things like that, but until then I'm not particularly concerned about it. It's yeah, I'd love to have several thousand viewers on YouTube so that I could run advertisement. But I would also have to make pre-recorded content in order to do that. Come on. And I'm just not that tech savvy. Not really. And I would want an editor. We'll be on tomorrow. Your mom wants her phone. Yeah. I'm usually here 8:30ish to about 10 o'clock during the week, and then sometimes we go till 11 on the weekends. And try to do that every night. What does my shirt say? It says unhealthcare provider. It's emblematic of my time in the military. I'm just kidding. All right, have a good one, Jane Q Public. Thanks for stopping in. I was in the military dispensing unhealth care. It's backwards on TikTok. That is because I'm using the camera facing me so that I can see my screen and make sure that I'm working on stuff in frame. One day I won't have this problem. It'll all be via Streamlabs, and TikTok will get a vertical representation. My disembodied head will be floating at the top of the screen, and then where I'm working will be down here. It's actually not a bad format. Maybe I should switch to that on... I wonder if that would change people viewing, right? Because right now it's a vertical display on all platforms. But if I switch it to horizontal, because people are like on their phones, they're used to scrolling, watching reels on Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. And maybe if I just went completely vertical all the way around, it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't change anything on TikTok. I still need a stream key. I have all the requirements for it. So we'll see what happens. But one day I'll figure that out. You know, I had less than 1,000 viewers for forever, and then I made a random video and it popped up to, I don't know, like 4,000 or something. Then I had 4,000 for forever, and then it popped up to 7,000, and then I had 7,000 for forever, and finally hit 10. And, you know, I think I'm at 14,500 in a year. And for the amount of content I produce and the quality, that's not bad. So, you know, people coming just to hang out and watch me make stuff and talk about chainmail. It's a big ask. And I'm glad a lot of people come in and say hi and whatnot. And I know that a lot of people find this very zen, very meditative. So I think that's part of the attraction. I'm guessing, I don't know for sure. So yeah, usually, you know, doesn't matter. Started streaming to 0 people when I first started. Then it was a couple people. And then, you know, how long have we been streaming? 35 minutes. I don't know if you guys watched the view count, but we were at well over 100 for the first 20 to 25 minutes. So that's 100 people that are like listening to me ramble on about chainmail. It's kind of the whole point of what I do. Excuse me. So I'm trying to finish this cube before October 10th. I think I can get there. It's October 1st, and I'm already on layer 8. I only need to do... If I can do a layer a day for the next week, then, you know, I'll be done by middle of next week. Which I think is very doable. So... like every layer has some 700 odd rings in it, and you can usually do 2 in a day to get to... Okay, so I have 7 rows to finish. That's 14 layers. Right? Each row is comprised of 2 layers. And so I misspoke. I said I could do a layer a day. You can do 2 layers a day. You can do 1 row a day. So if I do 1 row a day now until next week, then I should be done. You're like, holy crap, working on the same project day after day. That's a lot of grinding. It absolutely is. But the last time I had a big cube, those were like all my big videos. And so that someone offered me a significant amount of money for it, and I needed the money, and I was like, all right, let me make another one. And I was going to raffle this one off. But there's like a lot of restrictions surrounding doing that on every platform, right? So it's like I'm not hesitant to part with it, but at the same time, it's like I can use it as a prop, which I think would be much more beneficial than selling it. Maybe. I could be wrong about that. And especially since I'm going back to work. It's like, I don't need the money now. I have a job. It's like on Friday when, is it LL Cool J? Asking his mom for money. She's like, I'd give you money if you had a job. And he's all, if I had a job, I wouldn't need money. She's like, oh, there you figured it out, huh? So, it's like once I go back to work, I don't need to raffle it off. I just keep it and use it for videos and whatnot. I don't know. Okay, don't hold me to that. I routinely go back and forth on these things all the time. Okay? All the time. From one stream to the next, you will hear me say 2 different things. Things that stay the same are, I want to familiarize the world with chainmail, so please like and share. Right? My goal is to get everyone acquainted with how much, with how labor intensive these pieces are. And to get stuff like my jewelry, cubes, shirts, in front of people and have them go, oh, holy crap, I want that. Right? And it's like most of the time I can't take commissions. But I do know a lot of people who can. So if I can educate people that, hey, this is an arduous process that takes hours, and the labor that is put into these pieces, has got to be paid for. So when you go to the Renaissance Festival and you see someone's chainmail artwork, and it's expensive, don't go, oh, I could make that at home. Go, oh, that's not as expensive as I thought it would be. Here's all of my money. That's predominantly why I do this. It's like just introducing this. I've had several people, and this is my favorite thing about doing it, who are like, holy crap, what are you doing? I want to learn how to do that. And then I give them all the steps to learn how to do it. And we've had a few people get started and come back and return to the stream and join the Discord and hang out and whatnot. And it's awesome. Best feeling in the world. Of course, I do want to sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. But that is secondary. The more people, here's my evil plan. The more people I can ensnare into picking up the hobby of chainmail and becoming addicted to it, the more stuff, the more chainmail themed apparel and accessories I will sell. That is my evil plan. Oh, and words are failing me. Wow, that wasn't even a tongue twister. That was just me trying to talk. It's like I'm going to get everyone in my family one of the giant snug hoodies from my website. So it's like I haven't gotten to a point where I've given a few items from my website away to family members, but it's never been everyone. So I'm hoping this year to do everyone, which is like 25 snug hoodies. So the more money you have, the more rings you can buy and the more stuff you can make. Yes. So we'll see. We'll see how that plan goes. You know, I try to use my power for good. And becoming addicted to a hobby like chainmail is definitely a good thing. It's arduous and cumbersome and time consuming and can be expensive depending on how much how big your project is or how fancy your rings are, but it's not stuff you buy in a shady corner off the street somewhere. Speaking of, how long does express shipping usually take? You're getting antsy. For your order, it should be around 2 weeks. Usually it's about 3, and we're not hitting peak season for anything yet. So once Thanksgiving hits and Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits, then we're talking like, don't order anything from me after Cyber Monday, right? And expect it in time for Christmas. It's just, there's too much going on. So printing usually takes a week, and then delivery usually takes around 2 weeks. But express shipping should get it to you in less than a week. Should. We did have, during the pandemic, shipping times went all the way out to 8 weeks. When that boat got stuck in the Suez Canal, shipping times were around 6 weeks. And that was, man, it was a headache. I was dealing with emails every day, people asking where the stuff was. I'm like, I haven't, heard anything bad. So we don't have anything like that going on. So, yeah, shipping should be fairly quick. And if it's not, let me know. And none of it's, I will get to a point one day where I have warehouses full of my hoodies and blankets and coffee cups and all that stuff, and I'll be able to ship it out directly. And shipping will go down in the States, at least. I would love to have my product in Amazon warehouses, right? The issue with that is I would have to be able to buy a lot of stuff in bulk and have it stored at an Amazon warehouse. Okay, that's one of the reasons I don't have my stuff on Amazon. Was because if Amazon rules are that you gotta either ship it from your home quickly enough or have it shipped from their warehouse, so that they can stick to their promise of, 1 day delivery or 2 day delivery or whatever. right? I will get there. One day at a time. But that takes... I'm gonna guess and say $100,000 to set that up, right? And my sales don't justify trying to set that up right now. So we sell a couple things. Yeah, come here, Ring. And, just not enough to be able to buy a bunch in bulk and ship it from my home, or, ship it from Amazon or wherever. But that is a goal, right? Chainmail is a very niche hobby, okay? Worldwide, you probably have less than 50,000 people doing it, which is a tiny, insignificant number compared to the global population. So there is a lot of room for growth in the world of chainmail, right? Hence why I'm on here every night. Talking about it. The people deserve to know. And we've seen the industry boom over the last 30 years since I started. Increasingly in the last 15. We have more suppliers now than ever. And we have, what do you call it? More groups dedicated to this. We have people who run tool companies or who are part of tool companies that cater to the chainmail community, which I think is a huge deal. So I think that we're going to, after the next Braveheart movie or the next Lord of the Rings or the next Kingdom of Heaven, something in pop culture is going to trigger some kind of explosion for the growth of the chainmail community and the chainmail industry. Xuron and Micro Tools, yeah, love them. I mean, you have 18,000 members on Facebook. Right, just on Facebook, right? And I think that the countries that are going to be making chainmail like we do, I'm not talking chainmail from India or Pakistan or whatever, right? Those of us who are making like designer jewelry. Chaperone just performed in a Joan of Arc chainmail outfit at the VMAs. Yes, she did. That was hot. I like that a lot. We've got chainmail on runways. We have, there's a house in Korea completely covered in chainmail, right? So, yeah, some in pop culture is going to trigger an explosion. And prior to now, right? Say there was a growth in the chainmail community after Lord of the Rings. The industry did not have the infrastructure in place to assist that any growth that came from that, like, exponentially, right? And this may never happen. I don't know. I've watched other hobbies take off, and it's like, I forget what motorcycle it is, but it's a Harley, right? In Terminator, the first one, the Harley that Arnold Schwarzenegger rides, that was that particular model's most popular year, was after that movie Terminator came out, right? So something like that will happen, and the industry is there and ready for it. As opposed to, say, 15, 20 years ago, they couldn't have handled any kind of exponential growth. So I'm hoping. And I'm hoping it takes off, and I'm hoping that at that point I will have an explosion in my sales as well. It's just, Mead Simon's pieces are gorgeous, yeah. Yeah, it's not... Does he get his stuff on runways? Because I don't remember the artist's name. But someone has done several pieces on... I didn't know he did that. I've seen his pieces. I didn't know they were in shows or anything. There's a black girl that does chainmail pieces, and they're fairly simple, but they're colorful and they're pretty unique in their own right. And she gets on a lot of fashion shows, and I think I follow her on Instagram, but I don't remember her freaking name, and I don't know if she's part of any of the chainmail groups or anything. I'd have to look up who it is. But anyway, so yeah, we have, what else do we have? Chapel Run with the VMAs. Chainmail and scale mail appearing more often in movies. Right? Good Omens. The Redhead Death had a scale mail shoulder pauldron. Yeah, scale mail's popping up everywhere, and maybe that's where the explosion occurs. I don't know. Maybe I should make more scale mail themed pieces. But the point is, 15 years ago, scale mail could have popped off, but there wasn't an industry behind it to provide for new customers. Whereas now, there's more than ever. And while they still sometimes have a hard time keeping up, they do a pretty good job. So it'll be like a shortage of everything for 6 months, and then all the suppliers will catch up, and next thing you know, the number of people who make chainmail at a really high level has quadrupled, quintupled. So, and I don't know, like I said, none of this may ever come to pass. But it's happened with other things. So we've also got chainmail, 3D printing for cosplayers. It's getting really easy to make plastic mail. There you go. Yep. It's coming. I don't know. I don't believe in any kind of predictive science whatsoever. Anything I've ever tried to predict has never come to pass. But all the things are there for it to happen. So, in theory, it could happen. And I want to be, as prepared for something like that as I can be. Right? So even though I don't sell a lot of stuff, it's just a timing thing and getting myself out there. And then I'll have Amazon warehouses full of my stuff, full of my designs. One day, it's I'll go from okay, my hope. This is what I hope. So I'm gonna leave doing this all day every day behind. I'm gonna go back to work because my AC went out and my taxes doubled and inflation, my groceries have doubled. Inflation's killing everybody. It's okay, let me go back to work and get financially okay, right? But what I'm hoping is I'll go back to work and I'll be financially okay, and then the markets and the economy will come roaring back, and chainmail will pop off at the same time, and my sales will go through. That's what I'm hoping for. You know? And I'll make $1 million and come back to making chainmail all day, every day. A man can dream. It's like, because I'll never sell $1 million worth of chainmail in my lifetime. I really don't think many people will. There's a few that will. And that's part of the reason why I started my website. It's like, I want to wear chainmail all the time. But also, it's heavy and cumbersome. And so, wearing chainmail that's printed onto an article of clothing, okay, awesome. I can't make enough chainmail to cover the world, but you can be super fashionable wearing chainmail-themed apparel, because chainmail doesn't go out of style. Never has, never will. Maybe you'll come up with something nobody else has thought of, and it'll be super popular. I hope so. I mean, I could have sworn that a lot of the stuff I had done would sell better than it has. Like my unicorn rainbow hooded blanket. I thought for sure that thing would do numbers. I've run advertising behind it. And just got nothing. Maybe I'll send one to Chapel Roan. Is that what I should do? Buy a lot of product and ship it out to famous people? Here, pretty please use this in a video. I don't know, but I do need to sit down and do some more designs and whatnot. I've got stuff planned, but I got to get through. I got to get through this cube, because this is kind of like standing in my way of getting back to my backlog of stuff over here, right? So I want to get this done before I go back to work. And then I need to do all the icons on the app, right? Those are two things that I want to get done before I go back to work. Because if I don't, then they're just going to sit around and not get done for a while. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. 3 lists here of stuff that I want to work on. I want to get to. I did get hired. As far as I know, I start work October 10th. I gotta email my supervisor and ask her where she wants me to be on October 10th and at what time. Because I think I have to be up at the office for training. But I might be chilling at home doing training on my computer at home. I hope. Awesome, that's great, man. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a position I'm familiar with, something I've done before, and it's going to allow me to drop my kid off at school and pick him up, which is my only requirements really for any job. I didn't really care what the pay was. I wasn't really concerned with weekends or holidays or whatnot. It's like, I need to be able to drop my kid off at school, pick him up, help him do his homework. And, if I can't do that, then it's not the job for me. So there were a couple positions that I applied for. I applied for a teaching position over at one of the universities in town. The other university had a position open, but they want you to be either a master's level or be enrolled in a master's program. It's like, I'm not in a position where I can do school work and take care of my kid, make sure he gets his homework done. So I do not want to go enroll in a master's program. That might change. So I got my degree using my post 9/11 GI Bill. And there was a court case recently where a veteran sued to gain access to his Montgomery GI Bill, which is what you used to sign up for. And so when I got into the military in 2002, everyone was still being signed up for the Montgomery GI Bill. And you pay like $100 a month into the GI Bill fund, and then you use that to go to school, right? Then they converted it over to the post 9/11 GI Bill, and I used my post 9/11 GI Bill to go to school to get my degree. Well, now that this court battle has gone through, where a vet, I think he took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and they ruled that they should have access, vets should have access to their Montgomery GI Bill. There might be more money for education for me in the future. And so at some point I might be back in school going for a master's degree and, teaching at the same time, but not right now. Right now it's just doing some home health, making sure people stay out of the hospital, and things like wound care and trach changes, GI tubes, catheters, all kinds of, medication, education, diet education, lots of fun stuff. So, I think it's going to work out. We'll see what happens. And we'll see how it affects streaming. The first little bit, as I learn the ropes, we might have fewer streams. Because I remember, when I was first learning the electronic medical record system of the last place I worked at, I had some late nights learning it and figuring out what everything was. But it didn't take me long to get a handle on it, and, pretty soon I had all my work done in a 8-hour period. Maybe not 8 consecutive hours, but I wasn't working an extra 4, 5, 6 hours at night to get all my charting done or whatever. So I'm hoping this will be the same, or similar enough. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. It's like, as if I'm working, I'm just going to work until all the little things, like my AC unit went out, I got a new one, I got to pay off credit card, right? My carpet got tore up by the corgi, I want to put in wood floors, I'm going to get those done. The deck on the back of my house has to be replaced because it's been falling apart for a long time, since we bought the house, right? So I'll just keep working until all these little projects that are not detrimental, but need to be taken care of, are taken care of. So, and that isn't going to happen overnight or anything, but I'll grab all the tools I want for having a complete chainmail setup down here in the basement. I'll keep the coil and cutting setup outside, but the riveting setup, the Anodizing setup. I'll grab all those, and I want to grab a forge and anvil and a 2x72 sander and a bunch of other shop tools that I haven't had the money for, because I want to go play with hot metal out in my backyard. And if I can incorporate blacksmithing and chainmail into art pieces, oh yeah, I think I can make some pretty cool stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's my goal. I need a mattress. My mattress is very old. Charlie, how you doing? Yeah, we're at 50. Oh, you want to see the 8x8? Yeah, here you go. There she is. Waiting to hear back from the ring lord there. But I like the way the colors came out. Brass and bronze go well together. You want to do blacksmithing? That sounds cool. I do. That was actually originally what I wanted to do. And then I got hooked on chainmail and had a natural inclination towards it. And there. There. I stuck with chainmail for the last 28 years. I was in the military. I was moving all around. Then I got out and went to school, got married, had a kid. Didn't ever get that forge setup that I wanted. And now it's like, oh, well, if I'm going to if I'm going to be in a position where I have the extra money, if I have play money, then yeah, I'm going to go get all these tools that I want so that I can learn this skill. And it's something that me and my son can do. He's picked up some pliers. He's woven a few rings. He's about 10 years old. He's not hooked yet, but I'll get him. And I think if I can get him into metalworking with some blacksmithing, he'll eventually naturally learn chainmail as a consequence, and then I can turn him into a ring monkey, mass producing different pieces for me. Can you hear this? Isn't that awesome? I have no rhythm. Oh, my elbow. Ooh. Alrighty. This one makes a little bit of noise. This one's hefty, right? It was like 11 ounces when we weighed it the other day. It's a heckin' boy. So yeah, those are my goals. Need a new mattress, and then everything else that I said. I want a king size bed, and a new mattress. Come here, you. So I was in 6th grade, and I started reading Brian Jake's books. The first one is called Redwall, And it's about a bunch of mice and rabbits, hares, badgers. It's about, small creatures. Squirrels. And some of them live in an abbey. And there was a warrior mouse named Martin. And the badger lived in a volcano. And he forged a spear to go out and fight the vermin horde. That was in the 5th book. Made quite the progress on that cube. Nice work. Thank you. Barrios Blades, how you doing? It's coming along. We've got 7 more rows to finish. And then it'll be symmetrical at 15 rows on each side. Now, the bronze and steel one is right here. I'm waiting to hear back from my supplier for the steel rings. They're out of stock. And it's like, I made the mistake of, I made a math error using 2 different metals. And I ordered what they had on site thinking, oh, they'll have it restocked by the time I finish this. And no, they did not. So I emailed them yesterday. They emailed me earlier for clarification, and I sent them another email, and then I'm waiting to hear back from them. So hopefully soon. The sooner, the better. It's really, like, that's a lot of the reason why I'm not set up to take commissions. And I should not have, I should have used a different supplier, is what I should have done. Or custom ordered the rings. But it'll all work out. Wish I had a roller mill to make and send you Damascus rings material to have rings made from it. I wish you did too. That'd be cool. They'd have to be pretty big rings to see the Damascus pattern. I'm sure you could come up with a pattern for a ring, right? John in here? John, are you watching? How big would a ring have to be in order for you to be able to see a Damascus pattern in it and still be able to weave it? I think he and I have kind of talked about this before. A roller mill. That would be a fun tool to have. Maybe I will buy one when I'm splurging on tools to work with metal down here. 2mm? That small? Does the twist pattern work well with decent layer count of bolt patterns? Yeah, if you had the Damascus and then a solid ring, whether you used aluminum or just like stainless steel, right? That would look pretty cool. You'd probably notice there's twist wire available in 18 SWG. So it's not huge, right? Because my concern is that a Damascus pattern on a ring, if you contrast it with a solid material like bright aluminum or stainless steel or whatever, you'd probably pick up more of the details with your eye visually. That was where, like, that was a mistake I made on the 30-pound cube I did. The black rings that I added out of Byzantine, had I just used solid rings for those, it would have, it would not look so visually confusing. It's not terrible as it is, but I could have done it better. What about weaving rings to encapsulate Damascus rods? You can do that. Like, what would you want the rod to be? You know what I mean? Like, if you turned a rod into a circle, right? You could use something like this weave has a hollow center to it, kind of. And you can get a rod through there, and then if you went all the way around with... Here, can I get these rings out? Yes. Oh, but now it doesn't stay open. That didn't work. So there's... this is called captive inverted round, right? And you can use it to go around a rod and still see the Damascus rod inside of it. You could do that. But yeah, take the Damascus rings, put them next to stainless steel rings, or I would use steel personally, right? And you're going to pick up on the pattern of the Damascus a lot more that way, as opposed to making a block of solid Damascus rings, right? It's just going to be visually confusing. Like a keychain size fidget thing. You can do them that small. Or if you have the Damascus rod and just want a chain decoration on one end, you know, punch a hole in it and hang a chain through it. That way you're not losing out on the beauty of the pattern of Damascus. And then also chainmail. I don't know. There's any number of ways to go about doing things, and any artist you talk to is going to do it different, so. But yeah. I mean, if you got, you know, a keychain size piece of Damascus that you want to use as a keychain, you just want to decorate it up a little bit, and you want a little chainmail on there, by all means, message me and we can make it happen. It's not too huge of a deal. Like, a keychain I can probably handle with what I have on hand or with a simple order. You just want to make your own steel chainmail shirt and then realize the time requirement for that. Shirts are not that bad. They're not that bad. Right? Figure this cube is going to take me at a rate of 200 rings an hour. We did the math earlier. This cube is going to take me 91 and a half hours. Right? Which is like 2.5 weeks of working 8-hour days. Or 2.25 weeks worth of 8-hour days. Right? Now, granted, most people cannot weave for the number of hours that I can. They can only weave for a few hours a day before their hands get too sore and tired. And I used to be the same way. But there are days where I weave 8, 9, 10, 11 hours a day. Right? So, that 2.5 weeks, or 2.25 weeks, for me is 2.25 weeks. For someone brand new to making chainmail, getting a shirt project and grinding through that, they're going to pick it up, they're going to work on it a little bit, they're going to pick it up, work on it a little bit, they're going to get demoralized, they're going to set it down, then they're going to wait a couple weeks and get bored and go, oh, I should work on my chainmail project, and they'll pick it up and work on it a little bit, and it'll take them 6 months, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I don't recommend cubes or shirts as beginner projects. Like, I started with a shirt. That was one of the first big projects I made. I made a ton of errors, and I spent a really long time on it to end up with a really subpar product. Every shirt after that was miles better. Now, the type of shirts I'll be producing in the future will just be pieces of artwork. Experience and dexterity, a big factor, yeah. So, it's like, can I make a shirt in a month? Yes, I can. Do I want to? Not particularly. Just because shirts are, like, I know a few people who sell them for a decent amount. They've made a name for themselves. And they're making your standard issue chainmail shirt, right? There's no flair. There's no, I can't think of anything else. There's no pieces of flair to add to it, right? And they have a customer base that goes to them. Like one guy I know who did it made chainmail shirts for all the knights in his SCA group, right? But they don't, just because of the fact that you can order a cheap chainmail shirt from off of Amazon, made in another country, and wear that to the Renaissance Festival and look just as good as everyone else. You know, there's not a lot of people that are going to shell out for a fully riveted, custom, handmade shirt. So they just don't fetch a large return on price. So that's predominantly why I don't want to make one. When I do go to make them, they're going to take a lot of work. So I have several in mind that I want to make. Mine will be dope, right? We're going to have fur collars on all of them. Fur trim around the sleeves, right? Total, like, mob wife vibe. They're going to wear like a jacket. No more of this lifting a shirt over your head and shimmying down it, because I got 3 shirts and none of them fit because I got fat. That was a thing today, too. This morning when I went into the lab to get some work done, there was a scale in there. And I thought, honestly, I had been losing weight. It turns out that is not the case, and I am a lot heavier than I thought I was. So that was not fun finding that out this morning. But yeah, too fat for my old chainmail shirts. I would like to slim back down to fit into them. But in order to prevent that problem in the future, shirts are going to wear like jackets. If you're looking for extra protection at your night job to go over to your pistol vest for bladed assailants. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you're looking for something like that, my advice is to go to ringmesh.com. They have welded chainmail that they're making. Pretty sure it's welded. Double check to make sure it's welded, right? And they have a bunch of armor pieces for much cheaper than what I could hand make them for. I don't know if they make stuff specifically for law enforcement, security, or anyone else, mercenary work or whatever. They might. Yep, very much love the idea of making side expansion vests. Yeah. Thank you for the referral. You're very welcome, Crystal. Like for scuba diving. Yeah, so the welded mesh that you see for scuba diving, Mailtech, that's the name. I couldn't think of the name the other night. So the Ring Lord came about, And from the Ringlord spawned Mailtech. Mailtech made these 4-inch wide strips of 20 gauge 1/8 welded chainmail sheets in European 4-in-1. And just like a printer, just make super long sheets. Neptunic takes those and makes them for their shark suits for scuba diving, right? So Neptunic buys from Mailtech and cuts all the welded chainmail into the size they need and re-welds it all back up into their suits, and that is where Neptunic shark suits come from that you see on the Discovery Channel. And Ring Mesh, I'm 90% certain, uses the same technology as what Mailtech is using. I believe, I don't know, that Ring Mesh came from Mailtech. I could be very wrong about that. But it looks like the same stuff. You have a welded chainmail arm sleeve for diving to deal with toothy fish. Nice. I have a butcher glove that my aunt's second husband, so my second uncle, Rich, his grandpa was a butcher and had a chainmail glove, and when his mom died, he moved into his mom's house and expanded the basement and built on an addition and a whole bunch of cool stuff, and he's out retired just working his tail off making their house really nice. And the basement is filled with his dad's rock collection, and there are several metric tons of rock down there. Okay, turquoise, jasper, just those are all the rocks I know that I can think of. Opals, a lot of opals. Okay, all in this basement, just metric tons of it. So he's got to go through all that. I don't think he's gonna be done with it anytime soon. But also down there in the mess of his parents' house was a chainmail butcher glove that one of the last times I went out to visit, he gave me. So I have one of those. Saved your arm from a tiger shark and a hammer. Ooh, no. No, my brother scuba dives, and I watch his videos, and his wife had some kind of venomous sea snake kind of swim behind her, in between her legs, as she passed by. So she's going this way, snake is going this way, and they didn't really notice each other or anything. And after my 2 incidences with water, I'm not going in the water again. So there is no chance that I will ever be scuba diving in any type of Neptunic shark suit with sharks nearby. Like, none whatsoever. You would be hard-pressed to get me out in a boat on the ocean anymore. I'm glad it saved your arm. That, I would be a mess after that if a fish attacked me. How about barracudas? I mean, I'm sure that chainmail would protect you from barracudas as well. The only thing I know about barracudas are they're fast, and there's a song about them by Heart. That's all I got. They're pretty terrifying. All because they're really fast and chompy. I'll bet they are. Barracudas usually attack your waist, not appendages. Yeah, you know, I don't want to go where fish live and interrupt their living quarters to the point where they feel like attacking me for it. I really don't. So, I'm just going to avoid them altogether. Yes, that is good to know. I'll keep that in the brain bank in case I ever find myself swimming in barracuda-infested waters. Anything shiny? Ah, okay. That makes sense. So I had an incident that involved a hot tub and a child, and I didn't know what was going on. I responded to the screaming, and next thing I know, I had this unconscious child in my arms. Right? So me and a guy did CPR on her, mostly him. I was just there looking like I was doing something. And then, like 2 weeks later, I got ripped out of a boat by my foot. It got caught between a bridge footing and the boat. And I went right over the raft. And next thing I knew, I was underwater and I didn't know which way was up. And when I got up, I was choking pretty bad. So after those two, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm good. I did whitewater rafting my whole life and never had anything like that happen. And I go and float the ever so mild Boise River and almost drowned. So I'm good. I'm good. I'm not going to do that again. Yeah, it was a rough experience, but you know what? That little girl was fine. She went to school. It was a Friday that it happened, and she went to school that Monday. So, none of my quick thinking helped. I was just like, call 911. But there was a experienced EMT there as well, and I basically just rolled the girl over when she started expelling the contents of her stomach and lungs. And I got vomited on. So that was nice. So that is when I swore off water. I'm just not interested. Yeah. It's like I've dealt with drownings before. Like when I was in Iraq, we had an MRAP tip over into a ditch. And so you know what a Humvee is, right? An MRAP's a slightly larger vehicle with 4 wheels. But it's got this boat-like bottom on it so that if they roll over an IED, it blows away from the bottom of the vehicle. One of those rolled over into a ditch, and they had several drowning victims that we had to deal with. So I've done the whole CPR thing, drowning victim before. It was when they handed me this limp child that was maybe 60 pounds that I was like, okay. So, staying calm is always helpful. Yeah, usually things do not bother me in the moment at all. Here in the States, right? Because no one's firing at me when things are going down. Things get hectic, especially in the medical field, right? I strive to have a boring shift every day I go to work because exciting shifts in the medical field are bad days, right? I want things as quiet and boring as possible. Don't say the word quiet out loud while you're working. It's when you're calling 911 for multiple patients that are all crashing at the same time, and you're calling 911 because you're in a long-term care facility, and they all of a sudden 3 diabetics need higher levels of care because you can't keep their blood pressure up and their blood sugar's 1,000 plus. But nobody's those are bad days, but nobody's shooting at me, and so it's pretty easy to keep a level head, right? It's like, yeah, you know, you do this, and you do this, and you do this, and when mortars are dropping down on your hospital that you're working at in the middle of Iraq, it's like, that's when, you know, that's when you really get antsy. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right, where are we at here? 9:50. Yeah, we should be able to finish some of this a little bit. A little bit more work before we close out the night. So, and you know, even after a while, you get desensitized to, you know, indirect mortar fire, right? There were plenty of times it's like you'd hear mortars coming in, and it's just like, okay, if it hits me, it hits me. I'm not going to go take shelter. I'm just going to keep walking to where I'm going. And you just get desensitized to it. But when the indirect mortar fire becomes direct, that's a whole nother ballgame. On my second deployment, I'd gotten so desensitized to everything. I would sleep through attacks. I think I slept through like 2 of them. 2 or 3. And the alarms on the base would go off, and, you know, this mortar fire would be coming in, outgoing fire would be going out, so there's a lot of noise going on. And here's me in my bunk, completely oblivious to everything. And the unit would corral at the headquarters. They'd get a head count, and I'd be missing, and they'd have to send someone to where I was. We had these little trailers we stayed in. They had to send someone to come and get me, like two or three times, just because I just slept through it like a baby. But yeah, I will, going back to our previous discussion, I will own a Neptunic shark suit one day. Right? Not because I ever plan on going diving with it. It's just a very cool piece of chainmail that I want to own. Right? Like, I'll just have it down here on a stand. I will own a piece of chainmail one day. For those of you who don't know what chainmail is, there's a guy, his last name is Kane. He worked for Weta Productions on... Weta Productions was the special effects crew that did all the weapons and armor for The Lord of the Rings. And they also did Kingdom of Heaven. And I don't remember Kane's first name, but after The Lord of the Rings, he went off to develop this kind of plastic chainmail product that could, I don't know how it's made, but he makes giant sheets of plastic chainmail, right? And they use them for like windows on excuse me, skyscrapers, like curtains, kind of, to help diminish the amount of light coming in, but not diminish it completely, and then to keep the heat down. They use it on parking garages, you know. So I'll own a Neptunic shark suit. I'll own big piece of cane mail at some point. These are... It's like, I would like to... I'll go to Mailtech's website and get something they've printed, you know. I should get like one of their chandeliers or something for... I've got a chandelier in the front of my house, and I should replace it with one from Mailtech. That'd be cool. I'm 100% certain that the wife would go for that. But it's like collecting other chainmail artists' work, right? I have a few pieces from other chainmail artists, and like I have mentioned 1,000 times, everybody does things a little bit differently, and everybody buys different supplies. And so, you know, if you asked 3 different chainmail artists to make you a Byzantine bracelet, which is a fairly common weave that everyone learns, you're going to come back with 3 different bracelets. Right? So, it's nice, you know, just to see what other people do and make. And it's fun to buy from other artists to help support them. I'm nothing if not a supportive chainmail friend. I want all my chainmail friends to do well, so that they have money so that they can buy chainmail themed apparel and accessories. It's all part of my plan. But no, honestly, it does feel good to support other chainmail artists. All right. So, let's see here. 156. Okay. So for anyone watching who sees what I'm doing is like, holy cow, I would love to do that too. In the bios of all my social medias, so on TikTok, in the bio of my TikTok, there is the my link tree. Inside the link tree is the first thing you come to is a shop. It's my Amazon affiliate shop. So if you purchase something from there, Amazon gives me a cut of it, helps me support the channel. I'm trying to get to at least $100 so that I can withdraw $100 from Amazon. I'm at $19 after like 3 years. So if you're looking to get started in chainmail and you want some fancy pliers, go check out the shop, my link tree. I got a bunch of pliers listed in there. There's also the Mailworks web app. You don't have to download anything. You can just open it up, and inside are where to find suppliers, where to find tutorials, where to find where other chainmail artists hang out at, tool recommendations. There's a Discord in there if you want like one-on-one discussion about any questions you have in regards to chainmail, and there's several other excellent chainmail artists besides myself in there. What else is in the link tree? All my socials. Following, subscribing, liking, sharing. All my other socials is very beneficial to me. I do appreciate everyone who does so. And I don't know, that's probably it. Oh, there's my website. You should check out my website. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. So you can wear chainmail and be very comfortable. With that, it is 10 o'clock. It's a school night, so I'm not going to stream later tonight. But, you know, on the weekend we probably will. Okay? I'm usually here 8:30 to 10 most nights of the week. Got a little late start tonight. We've been doing 8 to 10. Oh, excuse me. Oh. We've been doing 8 to 10 for the last several nights. I don't know how much longer that's going to continue. I'm going to try and keep it at 8:30 to 10, especially when I start this new job. But, you know, go check out the link tree. See if chainmail is something you want to get into. And if you have questions, the Discord is in the Mailworks app, and you can come ask anything you want. All right, with that, all you wonderful people, thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. You guys make this all worthwhile, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, then the next day. All right, you guys all have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye, Boxer Dog.